Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet, and we'd like to welcome you to today's show, where John is going to tell us more about it.
Yes, this is going to be another amazing kind of show because this is following on from every show stands alone on its own. But if you've been following us for the last few weeks, you'll see how this is built and it built and it's built. And we kind of climax this week with the book, The Power of the Magdalene. We're tapping into that again. Angel Alariel. And again, for those who are not yet familiar, Stuart Wilson, who is one of the co-authors of the book, it was during his regression, he was doing had a past life regression done on him, and he went back to a time when he was an architect at the time of Atlantis. And he was part of this Kalu, as they were known, I think, that were the founders of the Essenes. And the Melchizedek consciousness was very involved with this because they were those that helped to create the Essenes to make sure that they're the wisdom keepers to carry on from the time of Atlantis coming through to where we are now. So I find it really interesting. And obviously, what happened is that when Stuart Wilson was speaking as this architect guy, it was very clear that he actually had access to more information, which happened to be from this angel Alariel, who, again, Alariel was one of the 12 angels who support Melchizedek's wherever they go in the galaxies, okay, to kind of bring their wisdom. And he was part of that. And this architect got access to this. So through that, Stuart and Joanne, as the co-authors, were able to access all this wisdom from Alariel that spans as far back as you can ever imagine, but so well put, so well explained that things that seem very technical and very difficult all of a sudden seem to fall into place. So hence this is where we are finishing this series, particularly with Alariel today, because it's all about the technology of light. And the technology of light, I mean, we've heard for the longest time, what are we? What do we comprise of? We comprise of love and light. And apparently that's true. And we understand the fact that, there's a very high frequency of light there. If you slow it down and you slow it down and you slow down the vibration enough, then you can come into a physical body, right? But it has to be massively slowed down to do that. We can't bring all our soul energy into the physical body because it would be a complete overload. So it has to be a section of that. So our higher self hangs on to 97.5% of our knowledge and wisdom and everything else, because that's the figures that R.J. Spinner talks about. So if we use what he says as the truth, and 2.5% comes in here. So we have to connect with our higher selves in order to become more complete. And during this series, we talked about, Jeshua talked about this, about the fact that, if I'm here as the masculine, then my higher self reflects more of the feminine energy because as a whole, we come back to this androgynous being, which is kind of like who we start out with as a soul. But for soul growth, the separation of maleness and females is kind of like part of that process because it helps us to be challenged, if you like, because everything works as a divine balance. But if you're a masculine, and we've gone through this time where we've had the patriarchy, which is playing out the end of the patriarchy right now, which is hence all the chaos and all this kind of thing. But everything needs to be in divine balance. And if you look at the world today, you realize there is very little balance between the masculine and the feminine. And that's been that way for thousands of years. Times are changing. The time for change is now. And I find it so exciting. We're going to go back to more of that wisdom of the divine feminine. We're going back to that masculine feminine balance. And, the world needs divine feminine collaborative energy right now. What do you think, Jolé?
I think that's absolutely right. We need more of that feminine energy. And, it's nothing we can do about it. It's coming in, whether we like it or not. just because of the phases and the patterns that this timeline is in. So if we want to really transcend that, let's just welcome in and expand with the feminine energy, because that archetype is one of nurturing and that really feeds unspeakable beauty by creation, constantly creating and curating, by bringing life into this world. And of course we need the masculine, but we've had a lot of that, and we see how once we have that polarity, when it swings too far to one side, things begin to crumble even within. So let's do our best to try and balance the masculine and feminine, the right and the left within us. By what? By what? Coming from the heart. I don't mean like feeling our way through things to where we're emotional, but whatever our intuition and higher self is guiding us, like John said, 97% of that information is there. So let's listen to that silent voice within that speaks to us and that is bringing that feminine energy in, because she's not going to scream at you. It's going to be a firm, it's not a whisper, but it's not a scream. So your mom, right? your woman, the vixen, the crone, the wisdom is coming back in. So it's a wonderful thing.
It is. It is. That's what we need is the collaborative energy.
Right.
And the patriarchal system is making way. That's what we're seeing going on right now is the destruction of the patriarchal system because the new era is here. It's
Yeah.
begins in totality, I believe, on the 22nd of December 2030. If
Well,
that,
are we destroying the patriarchy, or do we really just want to integrate it, have it open up space to bring in back the feminine where she belongs, right? Because she's been, I guess, excommunicated in a lot of ways, even in spiritual practice. So really opening up space for her to take her rightful place within our timeline is so important for transformation.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that what we have to see is we have to be confronted by what we don't want to know what we do want. And I think that's the
Yes.
job of the patriarchy right now is to demonstrate what we don't want. And the main thing for us is not to get drawn into the drama of it because it's
Mhm.
happening for a purpose. It's happening for a divine purpose. So much though we can show kindness, compassion, and all the rest of it, which is absolutely right, because it's part of who we are. As you say, that heart-based feminine energy is kind of so important at a time like this, but it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah. It's very exciting. And hopefully we can get into the joy of that, because a lot of what we're seeing in this exciting time, our mind is focusing on negativity because it's out there, not because we're trying to do it, but we're bombarded with it. So try and see that for the entertainment
Mm,
that it is at times, and just kind of pivot away and send love, to these places. Like we do the Pam Gregory meditation on Thursdays is a great way to constantly remember and to practice sending love to others.
yes. Yes, that's it. And yeah, if you're available for that on the Thursdays, we do that Pam Gregory meditation, and it's there for to be used 7 days a week for anybody who feels so inclined to just tap into that. It's on our channel, so we do it live on Thursdays, but it's always available for people to do because it is a daily practice, really, for those who are able to tune in and put their energy into that quantum wave structure and elevate our frequency into the fifth dimension and beyond. So. Okay. So
Okay.
what do you reckon, Jolé? Should we hit the button?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Hang on to your hats, everybody. We're going over to Angel Alariel. This is from the book, The Power of the Magdalene. Bear with me a second.
What we are considering here is the technology of light. We know this is difficult for many human beings to understand because they are thinking of light with a small l, the common light of star systems. But this is light with a capital L, a powerful spiritual energy. The technology of light originated and structured by Metatron and applied in the development of consciousness by Melchizedek teachers throughout the universe, is a key factor in spiritual growth and transformation. The unfolding and development of consciousness depends upon this technology of light. There are a whole series of techniques, processes and activations which apply the energy of light to human consciousness to assist in its unfolding. The energy of light and of unconditional love work together in the process of spiritual unfoldment. If you consider how this combined energy of light and love was brought to this planet, there are three main stages in that process. 1. During the Atlantean era, the spiritual leaders at that time began to focus this energy, making it accessible to highly trained initiates in the temple systems of Atlantis. 2. Jeshua in Israel anchored this energy through his collaboration with Mary Magdalene and through the initiatory process of the Crucifixion. That process sent a great vertical shaft of this energy down into the earth, completing the anchoring and stabilizing this energy into the energy matrix of this planet. Once that had been done, this energy became accessible to anyone who was open to a process of transformation, focused through the heart center. 3. The crystal children will circulate this energy out into the world, bringing it into the consciousness and experience of all people of goodwill. This will make it universally accessible in a way that was not possible in the vibrational conditions of 2,000 years ago. Each of these three steps of focusing, anchoring, and circulating is a vital link in the chain, and together they prepare human beings for the great adventure of transformation and rapid spiritual growth. And this whole process of rapid growth and ascension is supported by a system of light technology. The technology of light works out in practical ways through a complex and integrated system of geometry. The encodements, which open gateways to the multiple levels of consciousness, manifest in the form of geometrical patterns. When you bring your energy field into alignment with the geometry of a gateway, this activates the encodement, enabling you to access that level of consciousness. Other geometries govern the opening of portals or energy vortexes and channels through which energy and information is transmitted across the universe. The link between energy geometry, light, and consciousness is a powerful one. As you move into the new world, this technology of light will be much better understood. The crystal children, in particular, are not only ready for this technology of light, they will be your best teachers on this subject. Many of them come from advanced civilizations where the technology of light has been taught, understood, and applied for centuries. As we have already indicated, the crystal children will be able to signal much faster than any verbal communication, and part of this signaling will be an exchange of geometrics and a subtle range of colors that lie outside the normal human experience. To understand the full significance of these geometrics, it is important to realize that they are not confined to static designs, but involve fluid processes moving through a series of developing patterns.
When listening to this, I was struck by the fact that we have already heard of other people who used light, colors, and geometric shapes to help others embody knowledge and wisdom some 2,000 years ago. And this brief clip is an extract from our show, The Love Revolution, Jeshua, and the Power of the Magdalene. It is told from the perspective of a 13-year-old Essene boy named James, who is naturally gifted in reading auras. This information flowed through as part of a past life regression, once again from the book Power of the Magdalene.
When you were younger, were you able to spend some time with Jeshua?
Yes, he knew my parents and would sometimes come to the house and talk, tell parables, and would talk, and then play with the children afterwards. You could see his energy affecting all the people.
As a small child, did you feel you got more from the energy than the words?
Of course. I didn't understand some of his words. I was too young, but I watched the light. As the people there understood what he was saying, it increased the light all around them. When they absorbed information from Jeshua, it was like a great explosion of light in all directions, and he would also send geometric patterns to people who didn't have the light. I watched the light and saw the angels around him. There was a special kind of laughter at these meetings, a laughter in the heart.
Is this the first time you've met Mary Magdalene?
Yes.
And from your body reaction, the meeting obviously made a very big impression on you. Was it her energy field that particularly impressed you?
Yes, it's huge. It's purple and blue. She links with many other beings on the earth and off the earth. It's all tied in with light, so you feel as if she's bringing a vortex of the whole universe's memory into your place.
Is she able to create vortexes if she settles in a place for a while?
I don't think she needs to. She is the vortex.
The other Essenes around you, are they aware that she is the one who carries the greatest energetic nearest to that of Jeshua?
It's different because when she's there, you're not aware of what the others are experiencing at the time. It's as if you are not in a place on Earth at all. The fire in front of us disappears, and she is bringing the whole universe in blues and purples and yellows, and that's all you're aware of, that and this majestic energy. She will be a major force in making people remember what they learned then. Jeshua's job was to open the heart center. Once that's open, Mary Magdalene's job is to provide the information that's needed at the right time. She does this by showing how everyone is linked and how information can be gained when you ask for it.
In a later session, we asked Alariel to comment on this meeting with Mary Magdalene, and this is what he said.
This is a good example of the kind of impact made by Mary Magdalene. Mary was an impressive speaker, but it was the energy she carried, the quality and sheer power and vastness of that energy, which really impressed those who met her for the first time. Here was a master soul, an initiate who had reached the very highest levels of attainment within the Isis system of Egypt, a system that was widely respected throughout the Middle East as the mainstream mystery school tradition at the time. So to be in the presence of a high Isis initiate was something that many people would have seen as a great blessing.
Interestingly, Mary Magdalene and Jeshua were both light conceived, just as the crystal, indigo, and rainbow children are being light conceived today. A method of conception that allows a higher vibrational expression of consciousness to come into physical form. This augurs well for the evolution of humanity, as we have the opportunity to learn from them and uplift our own vibration to the same level as these new humans. Or at least the potential for that is very real for those who find themselves sufficiently spiritually curious to follow that path. Exciting times. Anyway, let's get back to Alariel.
The session continues.
You can also observe advanced geometrics communicating with the souls who have come in from distant star systems. Many of the crop circle designs are powerful because they have the ability to activate pre-encoded signals from a person's star system of origin. This is not ET phoning home. This is more like home phoning ET. That is the star system of origin sending a wake-up, an activation signal to the XETs who are now having a human experience.
Okay, buckle up, starseeds, get ready to find your own personal activation brought to Earth by your galactic family. Okay, Starseeds, now that you're fully activated and flowing with light codes, let's get back to Alariel.
Watch out for ever more creative ways of broadcasting advanced geometrics to the human audience. Every group will receive its own wake-up call, carried by the appropriate geometrical pattern designed to trigger encodements that have been planted in the subtle sequences of the DNA, those sections of it that haven't been understood yet by your scientists. It is important to realize that your DNA, in its higher sequences, contains patterns that go far beyond the level at which most humans now function. These patterns relate to your unfoldment and transformation, and your rising from your present state of being into advanced levels of consciousness. The whole continuum of geometrics throughout the universe is connected through a holistic pattern of sequences which links everything together in a single integrated system. The nearest analogy we can make here is with the sequence of keys which underpin the structure of music. Once you know how the keys progress through a series of logical shifts, you can begin to understand the whole system. In the same way, the technology of light progresses through geometric sequences to present a holistic system of unfolding consciousness that is both unified in its overall design and yet perfectly adapted to each of the individual stages. Advanced human beings who are working for the light are connected in subtle ways which the average human would not be able to understand. There is a system of energy and consciousness which connects all the workers in the light and links them into a web of telepathic communication. This web of light uses geometric patterns to integrate the whole system into a holistic grid, with pulses of energy moving throughout the web so that this is a two-way process. Information flowing down from the center but also flowing up from each individual. Being linked into this grid will establish a subtle resonance connecting to each of the other workers in the light and drawing them into contact with these people should they ever meet. Through using this web, each worker in the light develops what we can only call antenna, in the form of the ability to sense the presence and significance of any other light worker that they encounter. Even if they should meet them accidentally, as you would say, the friendships formed by these chance meetings are of a depth and quality that the average human being could not understand. There is a deep connection at the heart level and a degree of trust that seems to defy conventional logic. However, when you consider that these chance meetings may bring together souls who have been friends and colleagues for many lifetimes, this starts to make more sense. The subtle nature of this web of light connecting all the light workers can only be understood by thinking in multidimensional terms. As each human being evolves in consciousness, there are changes in the DNA structures as the multidimensional levels of DNA begin to activate. This activation produces a resonance pulse, a key signature which is expressed as a musical note. When you center yourself and tune into the light, you automatically send out through the web your keynote as a pulse of energy of a certain vibration. This keynote attracts the attention of other workers in the light whose DNA has evolved to the same level and whose keynotes are on a similar frequency. That draws them into contact with you as you move through the outer world, so that when they meet you in that world, they meet you as old friends and fellow workers in the light whose spiritual evolution parallels yours. This whole subtle process is going to baffle the average human being who is not part of this light-working process, as it seems to defy logic, but those who are capable of thinking in multidimensional ways will find this perfectly reasonable. Another aspect of this process is the way it expands your ability to respond to geometrical patterns and subtle colors that are pale, shimmering, or iridescent. The very subtle colors and moving, flowing geometrics feed you at the soul level and expand your abilities in ways that go beyond your present understanding. These inputs through the web of light are preparing you for the work that lies ahead, work that requires a degree of sensitivity that is currently very rare amongst humans. In a sense, these inputs give you a taste of the subtle and liberated life of unfolding consciousness that is to come.
So it's fascinating, isn't it? I've got to say, anybody, comments from anybody who felt something stirring during the crop circles activations that were going on there, or was that just me? but I love it, you know, because the complexity of some of those geometric shapes, and I know there are plenty of skeptics out there who say, oh yeah, there's people out there with planks of wood and they go around and they create, you know, seriously, no. I mean, the complexity of those patterns. And one of the ones that I noticed particularly was the one, and I'll put this up when we do the record, I'll put the picture of this one up. But there was one which is absolutely dolphins and whales, right? Two dolphins around the outside, four whales in the middle in perfect shape and pattern, which kind of links us back to Sirius B, because Sirius B is often the connection that's made with dolphins and whales, who were a very early inhabitant on planet Earth as well, so I understand, and very highly evolved beings in their own right. So yeah, I find that really, really interesting. So yeah, any crop circle activations for our star seeds, let us know. Let us know. And that's the other thing that really interested me as well. These DNA activations and the Lightworker grids that are in place. Okay, so we know that our usually there's like the two strands of DNA which give us our physicality, and the rest is junk, which clearly it's not junk. That is the space where all our elevating consciousness comes from, that, and that is where, as our frequency rises, this is where these activations are really bringing us to that higher level. And it's just beautiful. But the idea that we connect as light workers, I see that. You know, I know that whenever I come across people who are kind of on the same path or whatever, the connection is just so easy. And I like to think that the elevated planet community that we have around us are part of our light worker grid as well. You know, because the information that we're putting out there these days is not really a mainstream message these days. I mean, we love anybody who cares to join us and to take a look at what we do and get curious, you know, get spiritually curious and start researching it for yourself, because, you know, it's taken me 8 years to get where I am. And I know that that is, you know, compared to what many people on this journey have been on for many decades. So like, I'm still a bit of a junior and I still remember what it's like to be in that mainstream mindset, which I think is a good thing. But nevertheless, I love the idea of all being connected by a grid so that we recognize each other and get on with each other so well when we meet up, because there is a parallel there, you know, the DNA structure and everything like that. What a beautiful thought. Now, one of the other things that really interested me now, I've started reading the first book that Joanne Prentice and Stuart Wilson did, which is the Essenes, which is going in the wrong order actually, because Power of the Magdalene followed it. But nevertheless, it's going to unveil new information there that is going to be additive to what I've learned through the Power of the Magdalene in reading it. But one thing is very clear, is that a lot of the work that they've done has brought together much on the Essenes way, but the people around Jeshua have effectively been brought to them to take into like the hypnotic regression, into go into past lives. Because the way that it's worked, there are communities of people that they've been working with that it turns out were all sort of like players in this Essene community. Now, they don't, you know, they don't know each other necessarily, but the fact is that they do say that our soul families, we stay with each other generation after generation throughout various lives. So it's not surprising that you actually, when they actually came to pull this book together, and actually it was quite interesting because they did some work with Dolores Cannon as well. They introduced their work to her going back to the 1990s, and she was she was really very encouraging towards them to say, yeah, keep going, because the work that she did, like with Jesus and the Essenes, and they walked with Jesus, the work that Stuart and Joanne have done have really added a lot to that particular story. But yeah, the fact that this community have come back at this time through these different people in this latest incarnation shows that this is now the time this information is coming through. So I'm delighted we're helping to spread that message, because this is an important message. This is us helping to elevate the frequencies across our community and beyond. But it also ties in with what we also learned, and again, this came from one of Dolores's books in the first place, that Isis is set to return to Earth by 2050. So she's probably going to be in advance of that, hopefully, fingers crossed, with the initiate. So again, with the community. And we know that Mary Magdalene was, an initiate who achieved the highest level of attainment within that Isis mystery school. So maybe Mary Magdalene herself, because this is the time of the divine feminine as well, comes back into incarnation. Who knows, right? I mean, will we know that they are that, or will they just go about under obviously their new identity that they come to Earth with? But these are special times. This is when we are going into our 1,000 years of peace, the age of Aquarius. The rise of the feminine, as we've already said. And that's what makes it so exciting. And yeah, okay, the world around us does not reflect that at the moment. It continues to play out the old guard, but it's all working in perfect divine order. This is what has to happen in order for us to clear that out of the way and choose to elevate our frequencies to get to that higher plane of existence. So, I love this. And another interesting point was that the crucifixion was a vital point in creating the light technology that is now allowing for the evolution of humanity. So we think about and I know that, again, reading the book, Jesus, My Autobiography, he explains that at the age 30, when he had his baptism by John the Baptist, for instance, that at that point, John the Baptist. So at that point, he had this complete download, which kind of, it took him a long time to get used to the fact that he suddenly became what he was destined to be as this incredible teacher. But he was also told at the time that he would be crucified age 33, and this was part of the divine process that was going to go on. So it was always intended to happen. And this is telling us why it was always supposed to happen, because we had to have this connection now, this technology of light, which is activated as a result of that event of 2,000 plus years ago. There's so much interesting stuff here. But Jolé, can I bring you back in, please, for your thoughts?
Absolutely, because those crop circles were fascinating. And I could understand why they would activate people because of the sacred geometry, which, I mean, even just looking at your skin, the palm of your hands, and the way that your skin is put together, you can tell that you're made of some of that essence, and you could also see when the video was going through the different crop circles, I was thinking to myself, the branding, people know, some of these companies know, because there was one that looked like a splat or like a loogie. And that is over in America, that is a branding for a child's TV channel.
Right.
So people know what's going on. People know. And so when you start to see these things in the branding and these symbols and stuff, ask yourself, what are they programming me to do? What are they programming us with? And why? And get clear about the difference between what is coming into your intuition and what you're being programmed to believe. That is where the dissonance, but that's where the rubber meets the road with this practice. And that's why meditating, beginning to connect with the moon cycle, which is very feminine, extremely. We talk about sometimes moon gives me pause because I talk about Crow 777 and how he has basically debunked the moon in a lot of ways. He's kept a camera on the moon 24/7 for a lot of period of time. But there's something there, regardless of if it's been made or if it's a psyop, I don't know. But something's going on with the circadian rhythm. And throughout history and the generations, Luna has represented a female energy. So to be able to tap into that is helping the expansiveness of that feminine energy that's we're birthing in, because it takes us. We think about it being outside, like the Isis energy, she's coming back. Maybe that is a collective energy that all of us tap into and activate. And that's why Isis comes back. Maybe it's not a woman with wings, you know what I mean, that comes in and starts to change, as much as a whole energy, a light code in activation that lights up humanity towards unspeakable beauty and unconditional love. So we really, I just really want us, I know, John, you two put on the table that we're on to something here with this moon alchemy meditation. And the fact that you get to program you get to finally be the person that tells you what to do. What do they talk about? The Pygmalion, and then the other one, I can't even remember the name, I'm sorry. Why, Galatea. You get into the energy where you begin to program you. You begin to know who you are and decide how you want to live. But that takes a practice because of what we've talked about. They've taken these activations and these light codes that are out there that are supposed to turn us on, bring in the feminine, open us up to this wisdom, and they've perverted it and turned it on its head. So now what do? We separate, we divide, we go to war, we hate ourselves. So let's kind of move in the direction, pivot towards understanding that these things are there for our benefit, for us to activate the beauty within us, So
Yeah.
that's my contribution to the understanding of some of these job circles.
Yeah. And,
John, it's always about the how. Sorry about that.
No, absolutely. Yes. I was just thinking, it's like one of those quotes there at the end is that we have been the unconscious children of God, right? And now
Yes.
we are now going to be becoming conscious of exactly who we are, which means we're going through this metamorphosis, this massive amount of change. And whether Isis comes back with wings or not is kind of like almost immaterial, because by the time you get towards 2050, my full expectation is that people will have accepted our galactic cousins before 2030, right? Because we're starting to
Yeah.
see disclosure happen. And I understand care of our friend Elizabeth April from the latest Galactic Summit that the governments have been told that if they don't start to disclose what they've known for many, many decades, then they will have to take it into their own hands themselves and start to disclose. Hence, we start to see the US now coming out with information and sharing information, just drip feeding at the moment.
Exactly. It's been a slow
drip
for a while, So
Yeah.
but the
It's,
movies, the
it,
predictive programming that's happening is also a big deal right now.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the big question is, do they try to go for the fear narrative? Because obviously, that would be part of what you would expect of the darker agenda, or do they go with the honest approach and start to admit the fact that they have been in collaboration
Yeah.
with the Galactic folks for a long, long time? But
Yep. And what does sound have to do with all of this? That's a good question to kind of ponder. Sound is so important in this technology. And I don't know if you guys have been hearing ringing in your ears. For those of you that have been, some people believe that is another activation and upgrade. So pay attention to what's going on in your mind and in your body during this time, because there is this wireless technology. There's this, Havana syndrome, things like that through your technological devices. So please continue to fill yourself with positive energy, meditation, Mother Earth, water, things that are going to power you up so that you can take access to that energy once it is being activated within you.
yeah, yes, indeed. So, shall we head to the next shortish section now? Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's move forward.
Okay. So, thank you everybody for your comments, and we will move on to this next little section, and we will be back again live with you very shortly.
Evolution and design.
Unfolding consciousness is paralleled by unfolding and developing geometrics, giving the whole process an essential unity that could not be achieved by any piecemeal design or random combination of elements. Intelligent design expressed in mathematics and geometrics governs the whole process of universal creation and unfoldment. a design managed and implemented by the angelic host, and sustained by the technology of light. This system incorporates both physical and spiritual evolution in order to generate the greatest possible diversity of life, manifesting in countless star systems across millions of galaxies. This broad sweep of life produces ever more subtle and harmonious forms and expressions of consciousness, as each life wave moves through its natural cycle of development. Physical evolution may produce diversity of form and function, but only spiritual evolution can produce diversity of consciousness. In the aggregate of all the consciousnesses in all the galaxies, you begin to glimpse the vastness of Father, Mother, God. This totality of all that is continuously develops and evolves, and your human evolution is part of that wider process of development. You have been the unconscious children of God, but are now becoming conscious leaders of the process of change and spiritual growth. It is time to put away the limiting beliefs and authoritarian values of your earlier history and stand forth as the empowered and God-illumined beings that you really are. This is the destiny of an awakening humanity. As creation moves into co-creation and the true purpose of the universe begins to emerge into your understanding, though you have achieved much and traveled far upon your spiritual pilgrimage, the vastness of your adventure into consciousness is only just beginning. You are starting to outgrow the limitations of this small planet, and as your illumined consciousness transcends its boundaries, you become masters of all the laws of mind and matter, travelers upon the higher planes of being, citizens of the universe. This is the real purpose of your lives, not to push out a little way into space, but to explore all the possibilities of consciousness and being. The more you explore the realm of consciousness, the more you transcend the illusion of duality and enter the reality of oneness. That is your passport to limitless being. Through this process, your relationship with your environment changes and you cease to view nature as something to be conquered. From this new perspective, you will begin to understand how well the universe has nourished you and provided for your needs. And in this new understanding, you will begin at last to see the greater purpose behind it all. Originated through intelligent design and developing through the processes of physical and spiritual evolution, the universe provides an ideal theater for the subtle play and interplay of consciousness. Through aligning your lives with this broader understanding, you will increasingly sense the existence of a deeper level that restores and nourishes you. At this level, there is nothing to understand, nothing to remember, and nothing to do. At this level, there is no tension or conflict, for here the Father energy of peace and the Mother energy of love are united in the mystery of oneness. Here there are no questions to ask, no difficulties to struggle with, and no burdens to carry. Here, understanding gives way to knowing, and all your hearts are healed.
Well, I don't think I can really outdo Alariel on that, but I just find it actually poetic and beautiful the way that he has been able to phrase these things. And this is how we become masters. And I made a quote text. I'll just switch to my other screen here because I'll quote this to you. But part of the newsletter that goes out tomorrow, I always like to put a quote on there that is appropriate. And this one is a little bit longer than usual, but I just thought this is again so important to understand. And this was again the quote by Alariel. We've just heard it. The vastness of your adventure into consciousness is just beginning. You are starting to outgrow the limitations of this small planet, and as your illumined consciousness transcends its boundaries, you become masters of all the laws of mind and matter, travelers on the higher planes of being, citizens of the universe. This is the real purpose of your lives. So I just love that, because to me that makes absolute sense. And the other thing that it does align very much with what Jolé was talking about before, which is with this moon alchemy thing that we've begun, moon alchemy meditations, where you decide what is it that most inspires you, that most fires you up. How do you want to put that into a meditation? And we create and we curate the meditation. It's a beautiful thing, and it works really well. Now, I know that we have Joy, who will be here with us today, as well as somebody who's viewing, but she's one of our people who is actually going through the moon meditation thing at the moment. She was making the point earlier, the fact that you're reinforcing every day during this waxing moon cycle, because it works in line with the energy of the moon, and it's all explained at the time. It kind of really helps you to embody your desires and your dreams, because it gets you to that emotional place every day where you are living that wish fulfilled, or as if a wish fulfilled. And in so doing, you're drawing it towards yourself. These are the powers that Alariel's talking about, where, we were the unconscious children of God who are becoming conscious as to the true powers that we have. These are our godlike powers, using emotion, imagination, and all these things, not getting drawn into the conflict and giving our energy to the wrong thing. We're giving our energy where it matters most, heart-based unity consciousness. And to me, that is our future. I'm excited about it. That's where our world of unspeakable beauty comes from. And with that said, I'm going to bring Jolé back. Jolé, what do you reckon?
I was just summed up so nicely, John, with the heart-based consciousness and what to focus on. I think it was summed up. I'm going to just say thank you.
Thank you, Jolé. Thank you. And that means we are heading towards the meditation in that case. So we are going to do exactly that. We are going to go back to a short passage there by Alariel to lead us into Jolé's wonderful words of wisdom and a guided meditation visualization. So without further ado, we're going to do that right now. So bear with me a second.
Physical evolution may produce diversity of form and function, but only spiritual evolution can produce diversity of consciousness. In the aggregate of all the consciousnesses in all the galaxies, you begin to glimpse the vastness of Father, Mother, God. This totality of all that is continuously develops and evolves, and your human evolution is part of that wider process of development. You have been the unconscious children of God, but are now becoming conscious leaders of the process of change and spiritual growth. It is time to put away the limiting beliefs and authoritarian values of your earlier history and stand forth as the empowered and God-illumined beings that you really are. This is the destiny of an awakening humanity. As creation moves into co-creation and the true purpose of the universe begins to emerge into your understanding, though you have achieved much and traveled far upon your spiritual pilgrimage, the vastness of your adventure into consciousness is only just beginning. You are starting to outgrow the limitations of this small planet, and as your illumined consciousness transcends its boundaries, you become masters of all the laws of mind and matter, travelers upon the higher planes of being, citizens of the universe.
Take a deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And as you exhale, just relax. You want to breathe in and breathe out. And just relax your body, because you're breathing in love and you're breathing out love. As you come into your body and ground your energy into Mother Earth, as you bring your awareness to your chest, and you begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body. You feel your grounding cord root itself into the core of Mother Earth. Your grounding cord is 6 inches in diameter, connected to your first chakra. Your astral body is snapped into your physical body. Your aura is 1.5 feet around you, as your higher self is standing at the power position above your crown. as your awareness sits in your chest and breathes with the rhythm of your body. And all of you begins to relax. You are safe. It is safe to be in your body. It is such a blessing to be you. And as you continue to breathe with the rhythm of your body, visualize your crown opening like the lens of a camera. And that etheric energy, Mother, Father, God energy, knows exactly what to do as it gently rains down on your higher self and begins to come into your crown and just blankets your brain as it begins to absorb this beautiful golden life force energy, bringing it together, right and left brain, the corpus callosum. Opens up those portals, allowing for the masculine and feminine within you to communicate as this energy moves down into your neck, balancing your hormones and your thyroid, moving down into the hands, opening up the creativity and the movement, giving out so much hugs and love, embracing life, speaking so much truth with joy as it moves it down into your chest and it embraces your heart, moving out any disease, any illness, expanding and opening up those pathways, those veins, those arteries, and each ventricle communicating with the other seamlessly as it moves down into the gut, bringing in the energy of prebiotics and probiotics, balancing out the energy there, reproductive organs. You're safe, permitted to have pleasure, experience joy, sit in your power with unconditional love and speak your truth as all this energy moves down into the legs and the feet open and calling in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you, opening up and activating that God energy within you, because God is within you, it's within all of us. So as this earth energy begins to integrate with the cosmic gold divine life force energy, moving back up through your body, as that earth energy moves up to the side channels of your legs with the gold light as it mixes in the energy of the first chakra, and those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of your grounding cord as some of that mixture of 85% cosmic gold and 15% earth energy begins to fill you up. Some of it goes down the grounding cord and the rest of it begins to go into your cells, bringing so much light, creating robust cells that overturn in a way that supports wellness in your body, that supports the integration of the masculine and the feminine, that creates a space for you to curate your future. As you put you put two roses to the right and to the left of you outside your aura layer, 10 feet away. You visualize these roses. What are they for? They are to transmute negative energy into positive energy. So visualize your third eye opening and all of the negative thoughts and limiting beliefs and people fly out of that third eye and go into those roses to the right and to the left of your aura layer as 8 golden suns stack themselves above your higher self inside of that beautiful cosmic golden cascading unconditional love from Mother, Father, God, a cosmic life force energy. Feel the release. Let go of your past, your grammar school experiences. Let go of your teenage angst. Let go of the middle-aged crisis. Let go of anything that this timeline deems as defining you negatively, defining us. Let it go. Open the heart. Allow for that love to just pour out as you release any and all blocks to loving yourself, to understanding that you are the answer. Move out those negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs, all of the things that other people told you that you are, that you needed to be. Move all of that out. And let that earth energy and that cosmic divine life force energy fill up those spaces and those places with new energy, a new perception, a new attitude, and a new way of doing things. And see it. See the picture of your future behavior, of you taking hands and connecting with like-minded people, your heart opening and sending love out into the universe. You can see music flowing from your mouth and the flame above people's head lighting up with your words as they take hands with others, and those flames above their heads light up. And it just grows exponentially as this energy of Mother Earth and cosmic divine life force energy fills you up to calcifying the pineal gland, removing any blocks to your highest good, to unconditional love, to unspeakable beauty, as those 8 golden suns stack themselves above your higher self. And your higher self begins to reach up and bring one down into your crown, moving it down that channel, cleaning off your grounding cord as you see that golden light liquefy and cascade down your grounding cord, chasing those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth, turning them into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use, making your 6 inches in diameter grounding cord clean, clear, filled with gold light, brought into the present moment. As your higher self reaches up and pulls down the next golden sun, comes down into your crown, moves down that channel into that first chakra, bringing in so much safety, security, and financial prosperity, solidifying your career, your space in this world, allowing you to expand financially. As a little bit of that energy goes down the grounding cord, some of it goes up into the second chakra. As your higher self pulls down that other sun, brings it down through itself, down your crown, as it travels down that channel into that second chakra, opening up so much joy and pleasure, bringing in creativity, removing all those blocks, sending them down the grounding cord, as a little bit of that golden sun goes down towards the first and moves up towards the third, as the higher self reaches up and brings that golden sun down into the third chakra, travels down from the crown into your power center, bringing in stability, confidence, self-esteem, opening up, you willing to be seen, but moving that ego to the back, aligning you to the messages from the higher self. A little bit of that essence goes down to the second and travels up into the fourth, opening up that unconditional love as that higher self pulls that sun down into the crown, into your heart chakra, bringing in so much unconditional love and unspeakable beauty, as a little bit of that essence moves down into the power center, up into the throat, as the higher self pulls that golden sun down into that throat chakra. As you slow down and breathe with the rhythm of your body and allow for so much integrity to just extend and expand in your throat chakra, connecting you to that unconditional love, as well as the limitlessness of the center of your head and all that that brain contains, giving you access to that as the higher self reaches up, bringing down that golden sun, filling up the center of the head, powering up that third eye, decalcifying the pineal gland, moving the worry, doubt, and fear out of the prefrontal cortex, and that primal energy disintegrates, in the limbic system, bringing in so much more of that superpowered remembering energy, that divine ancient wisdom that creates magic within us. As we allow for this energy, we slow it down, allow for it to extend and expand into our cranium, bringing in the balance, the harmony between the masculine and the feminine, the right and the left brain, moving that information down into the throat. You see so many musical notes of integrity. See those musical notes come out of your mouth and your throat. It is getting you in alignment with the law of rhythm to help you to really have laser focus for your purpose so that you have that mastery. You speak it into existence. Why? Because you're filled with so much unconditional love. And you know who you are. That third chakra gives you that confidence. It's not about ego. You have been ordained. That's why it's time to get creative, because you're safe. You're here for a reason. This isn't random. You're not random. You are sanctified as a higher self pulls down that golden sun into the seventh, the crown chakra, north, south, east, and west, up and down, as that energy moves throughout the aura layer, beginning to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakra, attuning and aligning you. I keep repeating it: unconditional love, unspeakable beauty, opening up the doors of connectivity, ancient wisdom, knowledge, remembering who you are, allowing for your mind and your crown, not your mind, your brain, that part of you to connect to that true spiritual world wide web. The world wide web, you have access to the knowledge and the wisdom in the Akashic records and beyond, to quantum energy, right as you sit. Dissolve the blocks, dissolve the separation between you and the quantum. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, letting every part of you know that it is possible for you to transcend and transmute negativity, limiting beliefs into limitlessness, quantum energy, and power. So take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, visualize those roses outside your aura. Give them an energetic push about 10 feet away from you. See them blow up, turn into fireworks, into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use as they dissipate. And you go on ahead and you close that third eye like you would the lens of a camera. And you allow for that energy, that earth energy, that cosmic divine to continue to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up that aura layer, going down that grounding cord as you sit in the energy of your new reality, letting all of you know that it is safe. It is safe for you to transcend this timeline into one of unspeakable beauty, where you are aligned with all of the laws of the universe, and you are quantum energy. The how is the love. The how is the joy. The how is the connecting and spreading that energy out into the universe so that what? It comes back. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, hold the vision of who you really are. The quantum divine life force energy of creativity, unconditional love, and unspeakable beauty. Let it fill you up. Empower your vision. The past is no longer. The present is the power, and the future is the vision. So let's go quantum. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, I want you to simultaneously close your feet, hands, and crown chakras. See that earth energy recede back down just beneath your soles, and that cosmic gold life force energy ascend back up into the heavens, reachable at any moment. And on this next deep breath in, on the exhale, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. We just took that one back to basics, just
Love it.
clean out the chakras so that you can expand, and let that feminine and masculine energy, integrate with each other so that your intuition is just cooking with gas.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that comes back to like the moon alchemy meditations, because I know when we're doing that, we do two versions, and one of them actually has the chakra cleansing kind of meditation there, so that you can take that deep clean kind of route before you then listen to your manifestation that you're working on that again aligns with energies. So I think it's beautiful to do that because yeah, absolutely, it's just nice to do some deep cleansing on that. And we've got a thank you from Kit for that as well.
Kit, thank you.
And Kit also mentioned or asked earlier about the crop circles. Are there a majority of them in the UK? And yeah, the answer is yes. It seems to be the way that, particularly in the southwest of England, when you get down to what is that, I think it's a dragon line. It's a Michael and Mary line, ley line that goes down all the way through diagonally across the country and right down into Cornwall. That seems to be the area, around Glastonbury as well, and Stonehenge and Avebury and places like that. So, these galactic folks know that they're heading to these high energy portal spots and things like that to put these messages down. And it's uh,
Yeah.
it's
They're
interesting
definitely
stuff.
communicating, huh, John?
Oh yeah.
Definitely communicating with you UK folk. What are they saying?
I don't know. I don't know. They've got to send me the translation. But this is the thing though, but they say that when you're actually looking at the crop circles, it's actually the activations happen obviously not at a conscious level necessarily. I mean, you may feel something. I mean, some people may, if you're sensitive, you may well notice something. But the reality is that for most people, it actually takes place in the subconscious, and that's where it then activates DNA and all the rest of it. So it's definitely worth go back and play that. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to take that little section and drop it onto another email, aren't we, Jolé? And
Yeah.
just have that separate so that people can watch that on its own as well. Because, and gratitude to Philip Eulens,
Yes,
who
absolutely.
provided the photography for that, because it's a beautiful way of presenting that crop circle encodements, if you like. So, okay, right. So, wrap up mode now, do you think?
Yes, we just want you guys to know that we are definitely offering this Moon Alchemy as well. So really like, share, and subscribe because this is a life-changing experience. It's happening for us, and
Mm.
we want it to happen for you too. So
Yeah.
we're excited about that. So just share Elevated Planet. Our growth has been, a slow burn, but we're so grateful for the engagement and the views.
Yes, yes, we are very much so. Because I believe that whilst the numbers may be small for now, we have the right people with us because
Hmm.
they're the ones who've been drawn to us for a reason. Again, it's that Lightworkers code, right? Where
Yes.
the tendrils we all belong to each other as part of this journey because we are one after all. And I love that. And yeah, as Jolé said, anybody who has any inquiries at all about Moon Alchemy Meditations, just drop an email to me at johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, and we can just engage and explain to you what happens and all the rest of it, and then you can decide if it's right for you. But certainly, I know Jolé and we're doing it now because now we've just gone through the new moon, so now we're going to be
Yes.
our elevated planet moon alchemy meditation for the next 14 days, and it really just it lights me up. It is in no,
Yeah.
you know, I just like sat there with a huge stupid grin on
So
my
good.
face, just listening to our future unfold. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and our
there's
voices. And
yeah.
so it's got such an impact when you talk about the activations of the subconscious mind. It's constantly something coming outside of us trying to do that, right? Crop circles, this and that. Why don't we work from within outward? And that's what your voice is allowing for you to do. Work within outward so that you activate yourself.
Mm, yeah. Indeed. And yeah, I mean, just to make the point, I should make it earlier, but I always forget. But we are a donations-based channel, and anybody who can spare us anything there to help to keep the Elevator Planet Dream alive, we're very grateful for. And of course, yeah, and we got a donation the other day as well, which was a nice, generous donation. We're really,
Yes, thank
really,
you all for that.
truly grateful for that. Thank you very much. But yeah, there's a link down below on the description that you can access that,
Fabulous.
and anything is gratefully received. So apart from that, tomorrow we have the newsletter released. Anybody who wants to go on the distribution for that, again, John Drew at elevatedplanet.life will get you there. Any comments you have for us, any questions, any thoughts, any observations, same thing. John Drew at elevatedplanet.life, and we will certainly come back to you. And I suppose that's it, really. We just we love having you with us on the journey.
Yes.
The Thursday meditation with Pam, we're going to be doing that. Oh, the other thing to mention as well, Jolé did a deep sleep meditation. So anybody who's struggling with sleep at the moment, it really works. It's really good. So we just created that, and we're going to do a series of similar kind of videos, sorry, meditations that align to things that I think will appeal to people. So again, I'll attach that up to the back end of this video as well. So whether you're watching the recorded version, if you're watching the recorded version of this, you will see that come up at the end. But that sleep meditation is available on our channel. So I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jolé. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you again very soon. Take care.